What's going on, everybody? It's Scuba and Snorlaxicus, as always, with episode 13. I'm not going to ask this time. Episode 13 of the Endless Boss Battle podcast. This is a big one. We've been talking about this one for a while. We got down and dirty with the winter 2019 season.
Oh, yeah, man. Too much.
Arguably, Snorlaxicus, not arguably, absolutely watched way more shows than I did. But I still got a good plethora.
Yeah.
The way that we're doing this, to make it more exciting, is the winners of the awards for the winter 2019 season, they're all going to be the nominees for the end of the year awards that we do. And it's going to be really cool. We're also going to have, if somebody doesn't win and they were a nominee and we really enjoyed them when we look at the whole year, we'll have 2 spots in each category that are wild cards. And that's kind of my favorite part, I think. Because it's like if you watch something that you didn't watch when the season was going on in order to give it an award or whatever, they can still get some love at the end of the year and possibly win.
Oh, yeah.
So, a couple of things I want to know. Well, first of all, we really appreciate all the love we've been getting from adding ourselves on Spotify. It's been really cool. Also, I'm sorry if you hear what sounds like a horse race from my mic, but for some reason my cats have just decided to go off the wall right now and show me how fast they can run. So, sorry about that.
Fucking cats, man.
Crazy. They follow no rules. So yeah, we'll get it started. I think we can do it the way that we did for the Anime of the Year awards that we were doing. Where like I'll do 1 starting, and then you'll do 2, and then you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I get you.
Cool. So let's start with Best Director.
Best Director.
Man, these names, dude. So first of all, I got we both actually got all these. Ours is just different. So I'm gonna go with Mob Season 2's director, Yuzuru Yachikawa, Kazuhiro Furuhashi from Dororo, Showa Ibata from Domestic Girlfriend, and Mamoru Kanbei from Promised Neverland. All of these had awesome directors for like completely different reasons, man. Like the Mob one is just like the ability to go from one type of mood, making something kind of small and insignificant a big deal, with like Mob's relationship, Mob growing with the fitness squad and whatnot. And then, you know, I won't spoil what happens, but it gets intense in a completely, you know, dudes just trying to destroy the world type of scale, and it is amazing. So that's why that was a nominee for me. Dororo as a nominee is just the ability to recreate something from the like grandfather of manga, one of the oldest things ever made, and put your own twist on it that's so mature and just so all around awesome. Seriously, from moment one with Dororo, I have been a major fan. But the direction of everything, like the mood is so chill. And with Domestic Girlfriend, it's the ability to pull me in on something that is like so far from something I ever expected to enjoy. The premise, we made fun of this in the beginning of the season, saying we're not watching that shit. Domestic Girlfriend, that sucks. Um, but it's really cool. And it actually goes places, unlike a lot of like harem shows you'll watch where like he doesn't pick a girl, or a lot of romances that kind of feel like empty. Things are getting done in that show, you know. And it's like really serious drama, and it pulled me in from. I watched it yesterday because I wanted to be able to throw it in this in the awards, and I ended up enjoying it way more than I thought I would. And then last is the Promised Neverland director. I just loved every decision that was made as far as pacing goes, as far as like camera work with the first person point of view, and all in all, yeah, it was really cool. The way that it starts off at 100, at 1,000, actually, one of the craziest first episodes of a show I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like, oh,
and then to have that the pacing afterwards that it had and make it work was super impressive. But yeah, I would probably say that my award's gonna go to Mamoru Kanbei from Promised Neverland. I really can't get enough of what was going on in that show, and like so many things impressed me that I don't see in other shows, and yeah, I just had to give it to him. So yeah, that's it for me on Best Director. I'll let you go ahead and take over.
Alright, yeah, so great choice, because Promised Neverland's direction is insane. Like, adapting damn near every frame of the manga is insane to me. Like, wild, man. Yeah, I had Promised Neverland on my nominees as well. You pretty much summed that one up pretty good for me. Domestic Girlfriend is also on mine. Me and you had the same exact nomination.
The same 4 nominees.
Yeah, the same 4 nominees. The Domestic Girlfriend director for me was really good. I'm already into romance, like, pretty big. It's like one of my favorite genres next to like psychological horror. And I was already like, when we first mentioned it, I was like, this sounds like trash, because I thought it was gonna be another Kiss X Sis, like fucking incest fan service type anime. But no, it's like you said earlier today, it's almost like a soap opera.
Yeah, it really brought me back to the serious moments, like taking soap operas, watching them with my mom after school, taking these dramatic moments of, oh my god, he kissed her, and then, oh my god, what's he gonna do about the situation? It was like, it really brought me back, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real good for sure. That director, like, it could have been nothing but ecchi fan service, and they made it into something so much more. Even though the manga exists, I've read a little bit of it, and it's a little bit more adult rated than the anime.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, they definitely could have made that like way different than they did, and I really respect that director for like keeping it on the rails and keeping it interesting. Kazuhiro Furuhashi though, for Dororo, like, man, not like, there are so many videos on YouTube of the old Dororo and the new Dororo side by side, and the similarities and like the care that they put into making it emulate the original is insane. Like, just, yeah, wild. Mob Season 2 director, really nice. Pretty much what you said, like, the development with all of the characters, as well as, like, The animation and sound tying in together and being really nice. Really, like, I think Yachikawa is a really good director. He's got a track record that's insane. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but like, I'm pretty sure he's worked with a ton of other like big name shows from the last time I looked. And yeah, like he just, yeah, really great. Out of those four though, if I had to pick my best director, I'm gonna pick Kazuhiro Furuhashi for Dororo. Just because of how much care was put into emulating the original.
Right, like I think that it could have easily been. A lot of people give Dororo flack for not following the manga as closely as they could have, and I'm like, I feel like if you're adapting something, it's not going to be able to be just like the 50s.
Yeah,
you know, like it had to. And I heard like story wise, the manga was even kind of like hard to follow sometimes. So I don't know. I don't think that that's fair. I think that the way, you know, they still give love to the concepts of the original.
Yeah, and
so
it's
that's
like
all you need.
it's like the old manga. The old manga for Dororo might be different than the old show, but I like how they adapted the old show into a new show. Like they just straight up at some points were like, we don't give a fuck about the manga because like we think the old show did it better.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, I really like that. I think it takes a really skilled and talented director to recreate something like that. If we had this nomination last season, would have gave it to fucking Megalobox's director for sure, dude.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the same reason. Like it just takes so much effort to recreate like watching a show from so long ago and like still follow the story and be interested in it.
Right. It's impressive for the same reasons, but like yeah, it's hard to directly give credit for something from it's hard to, you know, someone could just watch Dororo and be like, oh, okay, this is just another like samurai show or another demon show or whatever. But when you look into it all and you see like those side-by-side comparisons from the original to now, it's like, yo, this is tight.
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt there.
All right, now hop into best animation.
Best animation. All right, here's my 4 nominees for best animation. First one's gonna be Mob Season 2. It took me a while to get caught up on Mob. I have not finished Season 2 completely yet. I'm about halfway through, but I've been on the grind with anime for like a week now, and yeah, it's been crazy. But one thing I will say is Mob Season 2's animation quality was through the roof. Like some of the best I've seen in years. Yeah, that's it. It's just crazy. The fights look so cool, like so well animated, and even like the casual moments are like pretty cool. So yeah, I got Mob on there. Promised Neverland. So many sequences in that where they use CG for like a few moments, and it's like having it animated might not have given me the same effect. I know that sounds weird, but you know, we talk about the scene where you got one of the characters walking through the hallway and that's entirely in CG, and it's like if that were in hand-drawn animation, I don't think I would have been like as tense in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to describe, but it's a case where they use CG really well in that anime for certain moments, and it's not jarring. So I think that's great in itself. I actually had Girly Air Force in Best Animation.
I think what I saw of it, like, seemed worthy enough. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of like amazing animation this season, anyways. So
yeah, and what I think from what Girly Air Force did really well is it also used CG in places, but like a lot of people say that the dogfighting in Girly Air Force is really good, and I'll give them that. It's pretty good. There's some things I don't like about it, like the girl smashing her plane into other planes all the time. But even if that is what she does, and I don't think it's like a cool thing at all, the animation of that and like looking at like the planes blowing up frame by frame, and like the aerial dogfighting, you see the missiles going by, you have tons of things on screen at a time. To be able to do that and make it look aesthetically pleasing is really hard. So I put Girly Air Force in Best Animation nomination as well. Holy shit, that's a tongue twister. Last Best Animation nominee I got was for Price of Smiles. Really, this one was just personal preference. A lot of the comments for Price of Smiles were about how the mechs were garbage. I personally really liked the mechs in that show. So, like, the 3D CG animation of those mechs and the aspects of it reminded me a lot of Armored Core, the video game. And, like, I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed it. So, that's why I put Price of Smiles in there. If I could just, for just 1 second, talk about something. I thought Dororo's animation was okay, but it's kind of generic most of the time, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that like the choreography with the fights were neat, but a lot of the static moments of just like conversation and stuff, it's not nothing to write home about.
Yeah. I was debating on putting Dororo in Best Animation, but like I could only think of maybe a few instances where it had like really, really high quality animation. And yeah, so if you want a Dororo in Best Animation, I'm sorry. We got we got it on a lot of stuff this season. So
Dororo fans are just all over our podcast. Like, wow, I hope they hit up that Dororo for everything. Because if not, I'm not subscribing.
I'm out. I gave Best Animation of the Season to Mob Psycho Season 2. Yeah, that's just, it's crazy, man. Like, the amount of man hours it takes to animate some of the fights in that, and the fact that they got them pumping out every week is just obscene to me.
At least 4 different moments in Mob Psycho's animation blew my mind. Like, talked about it all week long type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll go ahead and say that was also my best animation. I think that if anyone tells you that another show gets best animation, then they either need to watch Mob Psycho Season 2 or they're lying to themselves.
Yeah, man. I like how you hit it with the I ain't even gonna give my nominations Mob Psycho Season 2.
Well, I gave I threw in Promised Neverland. I was gonna say basically for the same reasons as Best Director, and Dororo. I already talked about how much I just like the choreography. And then Run with the Wind. I would love to give this that, but I'm not that far into Run with the Wind. So on this core alone, I can't give it a whole lot of love, but I have to at least appreciate what's going on in it. But Mob Psycho's just leagues ahead of all those dudes. So.
Oh yeah. Like, it's if there's like an like FDCB A tier, Mob Psycho is like SSS tier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just from season 1 alone, every single week I mention this at least once. But just looking at season 1, I was like, that's pretty cool. But now I just look at season 1 as just a solid world building season, and then they just went all out with all the stuff that they did in season 1, and it was just fantastic, man.
Yeah,
just fantastic. I forget. Wait, who starts up this one?
you can start. We can just alternate.
All right, so let's hit up best individual character design. We were debating on if we were gonna do full character design or individual, and we decided to go with individual. So first of all, I haven't even started JoJo's Part 5 yet, but I have Guido on here because the moment I saw that dude, I was like, this is my favorite character. And then I heard about the pistol thing and was like, that dude's definitely the best character.
The Blammy.
So Guido's on there just by default. I got Hyakimaru from Dororo. That dude just looks incredible. Like, such a cool idea of just a man born with no skin or limbs. Or ability to see or hear, just the worst way to live life, and to still walk around with fake sword arms and fake legs is just like, man, the thought with all of his prosthetics and adapting everything into being real as he kills these demons. Super awesome. Hyakimaru is the man. I have Saren Eleanor from Endro. She was just this really cute little elf girl in a show about cute girls doing cute things, and yeah, she was like the priest, and priests are super cool, and I really liked what they did with their design. So much so that like most episodes I was like, wow, that's an awesome character design for that character. And yeah, about it for that. And then Taruki from Mob Psycho. Teru's my favorite character, and I really like how in season 1 that dude got his head his head completely shaved off by Mob Psycho, or by Mob, and then kind of owned this new look in the next season. And I really dig his get up and what's happened with that dude and all that, the tracksuit look. But the winner ended up being Hyakimaru. I thought about Guido. He will probably end up being one of the wild cards at the end of the year, but I gotta watch Part 5 in order to give it to him. But Hyakimaru, other than Guido, like, that dude is way too sweet, and I had to give him character design.
Oh man, yeah, Hyakimaru's dope, dude.
The hair, like, I was watching a video that was talking about like hairstyles and where they came from and what they mean for individual characters and stuff. And I guess Hyakimaru was one of the first dudes, or was the first dude to ever have the wild hairstyle in anime. So
Damn.
That's kind of a neat little fact. And this adaptation made him look even more cool. So
yeah, because I guess if you look back at like Astro Boy and stuff, their hair was always like either slicked back or like kind of like slicked up a bit.
Yeah,
it looked clean.
Like, yeah, the first Risk was Hyakimaru. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's really dope.
Alright, that's all I got.
Alright, my nominations for Best Individual Character Design are pretty limited. I got 3. The first one was Narantia from JoJo, just because that's my favorite character in all of JoJo. The actual design I fell in love with, his attitude, like, just everything about that character, I just fucking love. My other 2, both from the same series, are Naofumi and Philo from Shield Hero. Now, Fumi's look when he first shows up and is at the end of episode 1, like, walking in, like, the fucking streets and shit. That look with, like, the cloak and everything, I love it. That dude looks sick. And really wish the show was better, but I really like that character design.
Yeah.
Philo, really loved her character design as well, with the whole, like, blue and white, dress, with, like, the angel wings and shit. I thought it was dope. Yeah, I gotta give my best individual character design to my boy Narantia, though, because...
Wow, he bodied both of the other people from the same show.
Oh, yeah, he did. 100%, man. Like, God, just... You want a character that I'll love, just make a clone of Narantia. Like, personality, everything, man. Yeah, those are my favorites. I thought, outside of my top 3 there, I thought Yakimaru was cool, so I really like that you had him in yours. I thought Dororo was a pretty cool design too, to be honest. Man, there's so many characters in Dororo that have good designs, like the fucking...
I know, man, the blind dude.
Oh my god, that guy is like... I should have put him on the list, to be honest, nominees, because...
Well, you had 3 nominees, so he could be on there.
He could be on there. He ain't gonna win, right? He ain't gonna win. My boy
He's not gonna show up in the nominees out of nowhere and take down Narantia.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, but he's definitely a contender for number 2.
Cool. Go ahead and hop into best ending. Unless you got anything else.
Nah, I ain't got anything else on character design. Best endings. Girly Air Force is one of the... I have 4 nominees. Girly Air Force is the first one. That ending was pretty dope. Just, the soundtrack and the direction, like the director, the soundtrack, and the ending of that show was really good. That's where it stops. So... that's what I'm gonna say about that. Girly Air Force had a pretty good ending. JoJo Part 5, I'm a fan of fucking old 2000s rap, and when I heard Jodeci's Freaking You as the end theme for JoJo, I wasn't even mad that it didn't get Gangster's Paradise at that point, because to me, that song was equivalent enough. So, love that ending. The Boogie Pop ending, I actually watched a video, the Anna Song Station series that's on Crunchyroll, which is the 2 Japanese dudes that just talk about anime artists. And they had brought on the girl that did the Boogie Pop ending and talked to her a little bit, and they did like a little preview of the song and stuff like that. And man, I love that ending. Show needs to, come along and end so I can watch it all. Cause there ain't no way I'm gonna piece together a non-chronological story when the show ain't even finished airing yet.
18 episodes of, just mishmash, nonsense. Like, nah, I definitely couldn't have done that.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. Like, Serial Experiments Lane is like a top 5 for me. But, yeah, dude, like, I can't do it if it's not finished, because I have to piece it together and watch it all in one sitting. But the ending for that was dope. Virtual Saiyan, the only good thing that came out of that series was the ending.
The opening was kind of a banger.
Yeah, the opening,
it was a bop.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But when you compare it to the other openings of the season, nah, I'm gonna have to knock it down a few notches, man.
Yeah, that's true. The openings were maybe the best thing about the entire season.
Oh, yeah. So for me, let's see here. We were on best... Oh, no, we were on best ending. My best ending, I gave it to JoJo Part 5 because I just love that song, dude. People hate
JoJo.
me. Huh?
JoJo's coming through 2 in a row.
2 in
Watch
a
out.
row, dude.
They're about to take the rest for Snorlaxicus, guys.
Oh yeah, JoJo Part 5 for sure, because like people hate that I like that song because everyone was literally the whole fandom was expecting Gangster's Paradise, including me. And we ended up getting that, and I wasn't disappointed. Other people might be disappointed. Me, no, it's gonna be ending of the season for sure. I still listen to that.
I remember when you told me that they used that, and you were like freaking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I love that JoJo's does that. You know, roundabout, walk like an Egyptian. Like that's
Last Train
just
Home.
And isn't it all stuff that Araki listened to when he was writing?
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. For me, I got quintuplets. I got Dororo, Mob Psycho, and Run with the Wind. I'm not a musical genius by any means. I like music a lot. So I'll say quintuplets. It was in my head a whole lot. I watch it all the time. The Dororo ending is really good, and the Mob Psycho one has a special place in my heart because of the scene where Mob is talking to Reagan. But I gotta give it to quintuplets. Quintuplets had to get something because I really appreciated that show, and the ending is solid.
Oh yeah,
It might still end up getting something, but
I respect that. There actually wasn't a lot of banger endings this season, to be honest.
yeah, a lot of laid back stuff. They went all out on the openings, and they were like, "Oh shit, we still need to make an ending."
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'll go quintuplets. Best opening. Now this is the one. My nominees were Shield Hero. Might be the only good category I put Shield Hero in. Gonna go ahead and pull that band-aid off right now for you guys.
Didn't like Shield Hero.
No.
You gave it would you give it a 6 or a 5?
Not a 6.
Oh,
I think
man.
I haven't rated it yet because I wait until it's over. But yeah, it's not looking good for Shield Hero. I hope he pulls through. My Roommate is a Cat. That opening is a bop. Promise Neverland's opening, of course. I gotta give some love to Overworld after that absolute banger on the My Hero opening. And then Dororo's opening. I gave it to Dororo. I don't think that I need to explain to you guys why Dororo got best opening. I think everybody had that blaring at one point, even if you weren't watching the show. Damn, that song is good, dude.
Yeah,
if you haven't watched the Dororo opening, I remember when I was showing my friends that show, one of the first things that we talked about was that opening. They're like, yeah, man, the show's pretty good, but damn, that party is over shit. I was like, I know, it's crazy. But yeah, I love, like, even beyond the music in the opening, like all of the subtle hints of what's going on in the show, like him fighting his brother, and like even his brother having the eye thing. I won't really like go too into that, but all of these things are just subtly in the opening, and I really appreciate it. I thought the opening was sweet. It even pays homage to the original, which is neat, and yeah, gotta take it. We have this thing, Last FM, that if you listen to music, it logs all of the music, all of the songs that you listen to and stuff like that. And Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Dororo opening's up there on most listened to tracks for
Yeah.
me. So
The week that it came out, it was my top track, top album, and top artist of the entire week. It was just wild.
it was amazing. It's also the I think they made the like Tokyo Ghoul openings or something like that.
Yeah, which is wild because those aren't that good in my opinion.
I don't like those. Other people will really fuck with them, but yeah, I wasn't a fan. But the that Dororo opening is something else, man. The music video is super weird, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you get into best supporting cast. Or wait, no, you still have to do opening.
Yeah, I got to do my openings, man.
The order of this is really fucking me up. But go ahead.
All good. My best openings nominees, I had Dororo, Promise Neverland, Shield Hero, Kaguya, and Boogie Pop. Boogie Pop, I'll start at the bottom here. Boogie Pop had a really good opening that I really liked. It really set the tone for the show, and it was one of those ones that for the episodes that I did watch, I didn't skip the opening for. Actually, all of these are ones I didn't skip the opening for. I just let them play through. Segueing that into Kaguya-san, that opening, I just let play through also. Because, my god, I love the old, kind of like, how do I put it? Like jazzy sounding stuff.
Oh, yeah. Love is war, love is war.
That stuff I really fuck with, and I love that I had that in Kaguya. Shield Hero's opening, also a banger. Man, like, the opening got me hyped for the show, and, like, the show kind of disappointed me, so that sucks. Yeah. But if they did anything right, it's the opening for sure. Promise Neverland, that saxophone, man. Oh,
yes, the saxophone rules over all.
Every single time I listen to that song, I want more of that saxophone. Like, yeah.
No lyrics, just the right after the na 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 na. It's just all the characters running around with the saxophone blaring.
Oh man, if you gave me an extended edition of that song with that, I would listen to it on repeat.
That'd be insane.
And then Dororo, you said it pretty good. Was fire. One of my top listened to tracks of the season. I really, really, really loved it. But because of that, I feel like I might have burnt myself out on it a little bit.
Oh man, wait, did it not win?
Nah, with so many contenders, I gave it the Promise Neverland's opening.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Well,
if Dororo had a fucking dope saxophone, though, yeah,
that's true. It's definitely not both fire, literally talking about fire openings, and
yeah, you got the dude in
split.
Dororo like give me fire. And then you got the dude in Promise Neverland in the background just going, fire!
Fire! Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're both, like, definitely top-notch. I think that Promise Neverland's opening, unless every season decides to just spit out bangers, Promise Neverland's opening will probably be in the wild card for me. I would imagine at this state, you're probably thinking Dororo would be in yours, so...
Yeah, definitely, man. Those two, like, Shield Hero was really good. It was really hard for me to pick between Dororo, Promise Neverland, or Shield Hero. So I don't want to discredit Shield Hero that much because that opening's sick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely gonna be in the wild cards for me. Unless, like you said, unless there's just non-stop bangers the next season... rest of the year just non-stop dishing out opening after opening that's insanely good. Yeah, it's gonna be Dororo wildcard for me.
Solid. I don't know who does the next one.
I think I do.
Okay.
All right. So best supporting cast, I had 3 nominations. I had Price of Smiles, Mob Season 2, and Promise Neverland. Promise Neverland, obviously, if you haven't watched it, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but there's so many kids in that show that come together to meet the end goal, and it's an ideal supporting cast in my opinion. Mob Season 2 is just filled with supporting cast.
Between the squad, between the fitness squad, his psychic friends, Reagan, like crazy.
Yeah. Price of Smiles, that show, the thing that made that show so good to me was the supporting cast. They made that show. And because it's a futuristic wartime era show that kind of feels like you're watching Game of Thrones where any character can die at any moment, you get super attached to the supporting cast. And when some of them do die, you're just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of that I gave Price of Smiles the best supporting cast.
That's a really good award for something that everyone trashed to receive.
Yeah, like, man, it got like a 6.5 or something like that on Anime List. I forget exactly, but everyone trashed that show, man. And I went into it expecting the worst, and there were a lot of good things in that show. I won't talk about the bad because there were a lot of bad things too, but the good things were the supporting cast was dope. The writing was pretty good, and I liked the mix. So
I would say that, like, even though because you compared it a lot to Darling in the Franxx, and if I had to give, like, we didn't end up deciding to do seasonal awards until now, but I feel like Darling in the Franxx would have hands down gotten best supporting cast.
Oh yeah.
Because that shit was just crazy, man. Like, I loved every single character and what was going on with them. And if it's anything like that, I haven't watched any of Price of Smiles, but if it's anything like that, I'm not surprised they got the award.
Oh yeah. That's about all I gotta say about supporting cast. Didn't have a lot of nominees, but I mean, really, there weren't a lot of supporting characters in shows this season except for Mob and Promise Neverland, really, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd say JoJo's.
Yeah, I could have put JoJo in there. There's a lot of supporting characters in there. Fuck.
Alright, my supporting cast nominees. I'm going Love is War. Wow. The addition of the guy, I can't remember his name. He's the one dude I can't remember. The addition of the dude made the story so much fun, man. And the fact that you're not even just following the 4 students, you're following like the chick that's at Kaguya's house as well, and like there's so many awesome moments with the supporting cast, like helping each other out, and like even though Chika was like completely oblivious most of the time, sometimes she did get what was going on and would like hook him up, and I thought that was sweet. Another nominee is My Roommate is a Cat. That's this one's kind of weird because I originally I guess we're just talking about supporting cast, so I'll mention what I was going to mention later, but the supporting cast in My Roommate is a Cat is neat because as he grows with the cat and becomes more of a social person, he gets all these people that are interested in his cat, and he makes friends for once. And I won't spoil exactly what's going on at the end, but at the end of the show, all of the friends rally together and help the main character do something. And I don't know, by the end of it with that finale, I was like, man, these people are really cool. They really care about the main character. They really care about this cat. And yeah, I thought they definitely deserve some credit in here. Quintuplets, really, it's just the supporting cast of quintuplets, and a lot of them, even if I didn't like them in the beginning, they had some kind of redeemable quality that made them really cool. Even though I have a significant favorite, they all had their cool moments. And then Mob Psycho, not much else to say other than what you said. Like that Mob has. If Mob didn't have the people around him that he does, then he would be doomed. And those dudes can't get more. Those dudes can't get any more credit than they already do. Like it's awesome. Between Reagan and the Fitness Squad, like Mob's got goons.
He's got goons. He's got hitters.
He's got the hitters. So yeah, I gave it to Mob. I actually originally went with Love Is War, but the more I thought about it, the more what I loved about Mob Psycho, besides the animation, was just how much people were actually there for that dude. And yeah, that's gotta take the dub.
Yeah.
Best soundtrack, I had Dororo, Domestic Girlfriend, Run with the Wind, and The Promised Neverland. I want to first note that Domestic Girlfriend surprised me with how good the soundtrack was. Sometimes you get these, like, I guess really they sounded like soap opera, like, stock music.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're getting hit with, like, solid instrumentals. Regardless, it was surprising every single time I heard it, and it was noteworthy. Like, it was something that I actually poked out and was like, wow, Domestic Girlfriend's got some solid music going on.
And that opening was also a banger.
Yeah, that opening is a banger. They had the like where the girl is singing the opening like long line. It reminded me of that Darling in the Franxx opening, actually. Kiss of Death.
Yeah. The winner of best opening, I think, for me last
The
season.
whole year? Yeah, the whole year.
Oh, yeah, the whole year, yeah.
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 Crazy. I ended up giving it to The Promised Neverland because they really knew how to get you in the creepy mood. And yeah, everything was especially spooky with the soundtrack going on in that. That's all I really gotta say. And the opening, of course, and the ending, of course. But yeah, they had like super, super eerie jams going on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have Promised Neverland and my nominees as well. I have 3 nominees. Pretty much what you said about Promised Neverland. It's pretty good. Sorry, 4 nominees. I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah, pretty much what you said about Promised Neverland. It's really good, has really good ambience, really gets you into the show. It absorbs you and, like, yeah, you get immersed from that soundtrack. It's really cool. Dororo soundtrack, I love the old style, like, feudal Japan instrumentals. So you put that in any show and I'm gonna like it. I also had Price of Smiles just because there were a good number of tracks on there that were pretty good. Especially, they were like orchestra numbers and stuff while like the mechs are fighting. It was super sick. The winner for me, though, my last nominee here, was Girly Air Force. And the reason why is because the opening and the ending were pretty good. And every single scene that had a track dedicated to it seemed like it fit what was going on. There are moments where they're like just doing some slice of life dumb shit. The writing was horrible, but they're just doing some slice of life dumb shit in like the middle of a town. But the track backing it is just so fitting for what they're doing that it was just phenomenal. Let's see here. When they're fighting, like dog fighting in the air, they're play like sometimes they play like orchestra music, but then the other time they play like electronic fucking like kind of game music. It sounds like, and it just super fits the theme. I love it. Yeah, best thing that series gave for this entire season was soundtrack.
Was that its first award?
I believe so. Yeah, it was nominated for best ending, but yeah, was not that good in anything other than soundtrack. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. If you watch Girly Air Force for anything, watch it for the soundtrack. Just don't expect to stay for anything else.
Cool. I think you're up for biggest disappointment.
Oh yeah, here we go. This is my favorite category. I get to talk about all of the bad shit I watched this season.
Yeah, now I think actually from here on out is the really serious stuff. So
yeah,
we're hitting main event status now.
Biggest disappointment. I only had 3 nominees. I'll have more when we get to fucking worst anime later, because I just had a lot I had to sift through for that. But biggest disappointment, my 3 nominees were Boogie Pop, Shield Hero, and Price of Smiles. Now, the reason why I didn't like Boogie Pop, and I thought it was a disappointment, was because I had came into it completely blind. I had never seen the original, didn't know what it was about, watched the preview for it, thought this looks really cool, and then watched 2 or 3 episodes and have no fucking idea what's going on and can't follow the story. It will be better when it's finished. I guarantee that, because all the pieces will be there for me to put it together. But when I was expecting the psychological thriller that I could watch every single week and be like immersed in, and I got like a puzzle piece, like a puzzle set I have to put together, and I can't until it's all out. Super disappointed in that. Shield Hero is on there because I initially was like, this show's fucking garbage. And then Scuba was like, you need to watch it because the first episode's crazy. And I started watching it, and I liked it. I really liked it. And then now it's just like, it's wasted potential almost.
That's the thing that is like, so having the podcast, it's hard to think about the fact that if you say something on it, like when we have our first impressions, for example, it's like, we noted how cool Shield Hero was.
Yeah.
We also mentioned once again how we were not gonna watch fucking Domestic Girlfriend. It's crazy to have that documented and archived, that there was a time that we can go back and be like, wow, our opinions of things seasonally were so different from by the end of the season. There's so much more season left going on that you know, I mean, yeah, it's a first impression, so nobody's able to like take your, you know, nobody's gonna hop on our first impressions of Winter and comment and be like, wow, guys, you really fucking said that about Domestic Girlfriend, but it was actually dope. It's like, yeah, they probably just go to our awards or our discussion where we're like, yeah, that shit was pretty cool. But yeah, something that I've had to get used to, you know, like I haven't had anyone call me out on it yet or anything that I've said, but there have been a number of things, and we're only on episode 13, that I've said and had to be like, oh yeah, sorry I said this. I was wrong.
Was actually flames, through the fire and flames.
Who would have thought Domestic Girlfriend, where his teacher and his girl he slept with end up living in his house, and he has to pick which one he wants to be with, or if he can be with any of them. Oh my god. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, man?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. Final nominee, biggest disappointment, Price of Smiles. That's gonna take it. Price of Smiles, I had such high hopes for after watching the first half. I was like, this is great. I don't know why the ratings are so bad. Now, keep in mind, this was 3 weeks before the last episode aired. About, I want to say 3 weeks. It might have been 2 weeks, but yeah. Watched it, loved it. 2 episodes to wrap up. What did they do in the last 2 episodes? Same thing they did last season. They fucking Darling in the Franxed me and gave me a shitty ending. I got Franxed, the ending sucked, and it immediately dropped it from, I think I had it at it was like at an 8.5 or a 9, I think, when I put it on Twitter. It would have been a 9 if the ending was good. The ending ruined it so much for me, I dropped it to a 6.
Wow.
Yeah, so garbage can of an ending. If you
wait. Did you give the same score to Frank's?
What, a 6?
Yeah.
I think so, man.
So which one was worse? I don't know what happens in Price of Smiles. I don't want you to spoil it for everyone, but like, which one was worse?
Man.
Because I would say Frank's was about a 9 as well.
Yeah.
I dropped it to the same score.
I want to say Darling in the Franxed was worse. That's just because this show, Price of Smiles, did not have, in my opinion, did not have enough time for, it had a great supporting cast and good, in my opinion, good writing, but it did not have enough time set up in order for me to care when the ending happened. There wasn't as much of an emotional connection that I had with the characters in the show as I had in Frank's. And when I got handed that piece of shit ending in Frank's, I was like, my life had hit, like, I was having a crisis, my man. And in this one, it was just like, it was just bad. Like, yeah, it was on the level of bad as Darling in the Franxed was. You can tell in both of those endings that the staff knew that they only had a few episodes left and decided they were just going to rush an ending as quickly as possible and resolve as much as they could. In Darling in the Franxed, the ending was just horrible. I've already went into it in our past one. In Price of Smiles, there are characters whose backstories and their arcs don't get resolved because they just rush to finish the main plot point, and it's horrible. So yeah, biggest disappointment for me gonna be Price of Smiles. It's up until the last 2 episodes, it was gonna be on the nominees for biggest surprise, but nah, they fucked it up. Fucked it up bad.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Well, you still got best supporting cast, so
yeah,
don't be too upset. Price of Smiles.
Yeah, Price of Smiles. I will say watch it because up until the ending, it's good. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about it.
Hey, check the Discord while I run through mine. There's a couple things.
All right.
I sent you. Okay, biggest disappointment. Let's go through the nominees. I got, I'm on yours. Let's go back up. Biggest disappointment. I have, Hinomaru Zumo. It's the sumo wrestling show. Okay, so I have to give this show credit, kind of the same way that you did. The supporting cast was cool. There was a character I really enjoyed. But the thing is, with sumo wrestling, I love the fact that I was taught so much about the sport that, I don't see anything about sumo wrestling. You don't really look into it in the West unless you're looking into it. But I learned a lot about sumo wrestling, and that's kind of all. Like, the whole thing with the main character is that he is too small to be a professional technically, and he's still trying to make it, and the only way he can make it is if he wins the sumo wrestling tournament of all the schools getting together. So he joins up with this school that only has one member. He convinces other people to join, and that's pretty much the show. But the thing is, with a sumo wrestling match, those matches are like, in real life, a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And they make entire episodes with one match, and it'll be some stuff where they animate a dude literally throwing someone over his back, and it looks like there's no possible way physically for this big ass dude that he's frog flipping over his back to land. But it'll be like the dude will be up in the air swinging clearly to land. And then it's like, oh, you didn't think I wouldn't know that you would do that? And then he, like, is just on his feet again. And I'm like, what? I was super hyped for this to be, like, there's, like, at least 10 different climactic moments that you feel like this is it, and it's not. And I understand, like, I know it's a show about sumo wrestling. You have to make it seem more exciting than a couple 4-second matches. But damn.
Don't make it fucking Dragon Ball Z level crazy shit happening.
With a Dragon Ball, okay, I guess you have all the time in the world. But sumo, like, nah, man, it just wasn't. It was really cool in the first 12 episodes, and then when I was like, oh, this is 24 episodes of this, I was like, man, the characters are cool, but I can only deal so much with this concept. Like, I think there might be a reason that there isn't a sumo wrestling anime out there. And yeah, I went on too big of a rant for that. Another one is Endro.
Oh man, I didn't even know about this one.
Okay, so I also have this in biggest surprise, and I'll go into why it's a biggest surprise when I get there. But as a disappointment, it's like you have a pretty generic concept of 4 cute girls doing cute things. They all have a certain class. One of the girls is the hero. She's kind of the main character, but not really. But she's definitely the focus. But she goes around with these 4 girls, and then it turns out that their teacher is this demon lord that is supposed to get slain by the hero every time when they get there, and then time rewinds, and then they do it all over again. So the demon lord has technically been killed like 998 times, and this is the 999th time. And yeah, it's really generic. But once I hit like episode 3, I was like, okay, I really, really like these characters. They were kind of just on that doing cute things thing, but they also had some really good stories developing. And yeah, the disappointment for me was the show takes this certain turn, and I want to say starts to, so I forgot to note that the demon lord is the teacher, but she's also like a loli.
Yeah.
So she doesn't look like a demon lord, she just looks like a little girl. And then I don't know, they kind of heavy sexualized all the little they're all just little girls, and they took like really weird turns with the show, and I was like, yo, I don't think that you needed to do all of this. And yeah, it's gonna be in the nominees for biggest disappointment. Mysteria Friends, also known on the Endless Boss Battle podcast as Marinara Friends, is in the biggest disappointment. I still haven't finished this show, but Jesus, man, I was really excited for this because you play, what is it, Grand Blue?
Yeah.
Fantasy? So you play that mobile game, and you were like, oh, I think this is that universe. And I kind of played it for a little bit, and I was like really stoked for this. I even owned it as like one of the shows I was really going to get into when, you know, back in the day when we thought Domestic Girlfriend was going to be a shit show. Yeah. And yeah, it was just awful, man. It's like I watched 3 episodes or so, and I'm like, I don't know if they like each other or if they're just like super close friends, but also the storylines and the pacing where it would just be like they're relaxing and then suddenly something's a big deal, but in theory it doesn't sound like a big deal. Not really like Love is War did, but in like I actually have no idea why you're freaking the fuck out about this. Yeah, man, just really disappointing because I thought that whether they were in love or whether they were friends, I was down for this to be a really cool story, and it was not good. The animation was bad. If we had worst animation, I think Virtual Sin would lose, would win, I guess.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, and then last is Shield Hero. Holy shit, dude. I don't even know if we have time for me to shit talk this show, man. Okay. Isekai, the genre.
Garbage.
What the fuck, man? Every single season, there's an isekai that looks super cool, and then a couple episodes in, I'm like, okay, I'm really about this. And then you get to around episode 5 of almost every isekai, and then you're just like, oh, I thought you were doing something different, when in reality, you were just doing the same shit that all these other ones have done. Rimuru is just in a harem. Naofumi, just in a harem. Like, every single one, man. Even Ainz Al Ghul in Overlord. I'm like, dude, he's just a skeleton man.
But he's in a harem.
And then he's in a harem because I guess with a really cool premise of we're in a fantasy world all of a sudden, and we need to get to know the world. Like, we don't have enough content for whatever fucking reason. That should be the one time when you have all the content in the world to do something and build your world, but you decide to throw a whole bunch of love interests in there and piss everybody off. And yeah, man, Shield Hero won biggest disappointment, even over Marinara Friends, even over Endro, even over Sumo. All those shows were big disappointments, but Shield Hero really made me mad because I was repping that from day one. I got my girlfriend to watch that show with me, and to see where it went, and like 3 weeks in, she was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to watch that show anymore. And I was like, I'm going to watch it just because of the podcast. But yeah, do yourself a favor and stop. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
And man, wow. What a shit show.
I remember reading something one time where they said the reason isekais are so popular, you might have told me this, was because they're rebelling against like Japanese norms.
Mm-hmm.
Cool and all, right? But like, why does every one of your fucking rebellion animes have to have a harem? Like, I don't get it, man. Like, man, like, it's just, it takes away from the focus so much. And like, I'm about almost all the way caught up on Shield Hero. About nothing has happened, so yeah.
I'm on episode 10, and I can very much say it's gotten to the point where I just have it in the background when I'm playing League, and I still don't fucking miss anything.
Yeah, dude.
I'll look up and I'll just hear, hey, now Fumi, do you think that you could stay the night with us? And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, he's like, well, why don't you just stay with her? You're cold, right? And I'm like, yo, that was bad. Granted, I have been just watching the dub so that I can follow it, and at first I thought I really liked it, and it really just makes the show even worse.
Oh yeah, didn't you say Philo's voice actor was unbearable?
Yeah, she was sort of like when we saw the Tanya the Evil dub earlier. It was like that.
Man.
Yeah.
What a disgrace.
But that's it. That's big a disappointment. I'm sure if you guys listen to this podcast every week, you probably knew that one was going to get it for me. But yeah, I'll lay off. I'll let Shield Hero have its second core and still watch it go down the drain. I'll do it.
Spiraling out of control.
It's lucky that we have you can't win an award or be nominated for an award 2 seasons in a row, because Shield Hero would probably be on there, bro.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest disappointment of all time.
Unless Demon Slayer and Carol and Tuesday completely flop, Shield Hero would be getting it, I'm sure. Okay,
yeah.
That's all I got. Am I going to biggest surprise?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a tough one to just go from one to the next. But okay, so biggest surprise. It's I got Quintuplets. Quintuplets was a show I can honestly say something that's been purposely a harem. I've never really gotten into any of them, so I was like, you know what, Quintuplets, you can't go wrong with that, right? So I jumped into it, kind of expecting it to be mid or low, like just not very good, and surprisingly, I would say fantastic. It's a super well written harem, and in theory, with the whole plot being, guy finds out he gets paid to tutor these quintuplets because they all suck at school. And it's like, he's tutoring them for the first couple episodes, and then he has to win all them over individually. It's like, wow, this could really be pretty shit. And in the first 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, I don't know, Joe. But by the end of it, I was a big fan, and yeah, definitely up there for biggest surprise. I once again, I had Endro up here. It was one that I picked up because I kind of needed some bad shows to pad the bad things in this podcast, and so I picked up Endro because it had a bad score. Oh, an atrocious score, actually. I think it was even lower than Price of Smiles. So around high 5, low 6. And I was like, oh man, is it really this bad? And then jumping into it, I was like, from beginning to end, I was like, man, I don't really think that this deserves this score. And it's funny because even being biggest disappointment, I gave this show a 5. And so technically it is worse. It is worse than the rating gives it. But in my head, that score I feel like more people would like Endro. I don't know. But it's up there for biggest surprise. It was good. A lot of good things about the show. It just kind of took a weird route. It's more of a surprise than a disappointment, I'll say that. Roommate as a Cat, I expected to jump into a show like I love those shows that are just super cute, like How to Keep a Mummy. That's just about a dude and his friends acquiring these monsters that they take care of like their pets, and they just run around doing cute shit. And the story doesn't really go anywhere, but like what's important is that the love grows, and I get to see this mummy do cute shit, and that was all that mattered. Gaku and Babysitters, you're just watching these kids do cute shit, and so Roommate as a cat, I kind of just expected this cat to be doing cute things, but it ended up being a really, really heartwarming story about a man basically living the same life as the cat, and then them finding each other and growing together through each other. And yeah, it was already something that I expected to enjoy a lot, but it surprised me in that by the finale, I actually cried and thought that it was like a super good show in general, even if you're not a cat person.
Didn't you get your cats because you were like, man, that show?
No, it was convenient, and one of the cats ended up looking like the cat on the show. But yeah, it definitely made me more excited about cats, so sort of. And then last is Domestic Girlfriend. I kind of covered this already. We said this show was going to be shit. We said the premise was bad. We said everything about it didn't sound good, even the name.
And then, by God, did it come out of nowhere?
Oh yeah. So the funny thing was, I started watching Quintuplets as you started watching Domestic Girlfriend. And we both came to work and were like, hey, man, I started watching this show, and I know we goofed around about these shows, but they're pretty good. And we were like, oh, that's sweet. I'll end up having to watch it. And then, yeah, I watched all of Domestic Girlfriend last night. I went into it with better expectations because you said you enjoyed it, and then Gigik read the whole manga in one day, I think. And like everyone on my Twitter said that it was a really awesome show. So I went into it with like high expectations, but I was also like, man, I feel like this could definitely be the type of show that I watch and I just kind of keep quiet about it. Like, I don't openly say, guys, what the fuck's your problem? Domestic Girlfriend is shit. But it was good. It was surprisingly good, and I actually I say that it wins the award because of how our opinion started with it. Like, I would say Roommate as a Cat would win, but I kind of thought that show was gonna be good. So Domestic Girlfriend just completely did a 180. Ended up being one of my favorite shows of the season, and yeah, solid. Just an awesome show.
Oh yeah.
I shamelessly enjoyed Domestic Girlfriend.
I'll just go ahead and say that was my biggest surprise as well. Honestly, that was the one that won it for me too. And I'll go over my other nominees for biggest surprise here. But yeah, like you put it, the amount that we trashed that show, and just we got folded, we got demolished. Like, they were like, oh, you gonna talk shit about our show, huh? And then just made something that was great, like 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I gave it an 8, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just... I would say up to date, that's probably the one thing that I'm most ashamed about trashing in the beginning. The most ashamed I am about being wrong about something.
Oh man, my most ashamed one is my first nominee for biggest surprise, which was Girly Air Force, because I demolished that show.
You hit that on another level.
Yeah. I was like, nah, this show is gonna be garbage. Worst anime of the season by far. And then I come to work after watching it and was like, yeah, it's a 6 out of 10.
Well, I mean, if you look, it was like way down on the list, had a bad score. The poster looked stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
Looked like it had bad animation. The whole the name, the Girly Air Force is a worse name than Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh, by far. By far.
So, yeah, but that's fair because you actually said that show can burn in hell. I'm not watching that stupid shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, that one was wild for me, man. I didn't know how to feel after finishing that. The other nominee I had was Dovero, and that's because I remember me and you were going through seasonal anime before First Impressions so that we could get a good first impression video going. And we looked at Shield Hero and Promise Neverland, and we kind of glanced at Dovero and we're like, oh, that looks okay. And then like a week or two later, before we did our first impression, I think it was like right before we did it, we were in the office looking up stuff, and I was like, hey, go back to that Dororo real quick. I want to see if they got a synopsis yet. And you opened it, and we read the synopsis, and was just like, holy shit, man, this sounds
Well, we
dope.
saw demons.
Huh?
We saw demons, and we were like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like, it went from us barely glancing over it to being like an obscenely good show. So that was a big surprise to me. But yeah, Domestic Girlfriend gotta win it because I thought that show was not gonna be good, and it was like really good. Like, Girly Air Force would have won it if it was like an 8 out of 10 or something, but Domestic Girlfriend was down there with Girly Air Force, not as low, right? But in terms of first impressions, was down there. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be good at all, and was just phenomenal. So yeah, that's all I got for my biggest surprise. We can go ahead and go on to Best Girl now.
Ooh, we're at Best Girl.
Best Girl.
Actually, let's do Best Voice Actor, and then hit up Best Girl, Best Boy, and then Worst Anime and Best Anime.
Alright, we can do that.
Yeah.
Alright. Best voice acting performance for me. Yumeko's voice actor from Kakaguri. My man, if there are anything good about that show, it's gotta be the main character's voice actor. I love that character's voice actor so much. There's so many like different ranges of expression she can reach from playing a character that's like gonna have a normal conversation with you for a few minutes and then randomly goes fucking crazy about gambling. Yeah, I really like that voice actor. Serizawa Yu from Ueno-san, I'm pretty sure it's she. I didn't look at her picture too much, but she voices the guy from Ueno-san. So when I was telling you, like, in the first minute of Ueno-san, when the main character is like, hey, drink my pee, and the dude is like, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. That is the voice of the dude. So that character, his reactions and how like calm a demeanor he has, and her like voice acting that is really good. Plus, I didn't even know it was a girl voice acting a male character until I looked it up. So that's also a plus because I had no idea it was a girl. And if you can be a voice actor, it's like Tommy from Rugrats. If you can be a voice actor and play a boy character as a girl or a girl character as a boy, you're a really good voice actor in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
I had Sasaki Matsumi from Dororo, which was Biwamaru. He's the blind swordsman. That dude really got into the role of playing a blind swordsman and playing like an older guy. You can tell like his voice is more hoarse and like kind of gravelly when he talks, and just phenomenal job there. My favorite voice acting performance though, I gave it to Hidaka Rino, who played Philo from Shield Hero on the Japanese on the Raws, I guess I'll just say Raws. Or I could say subbed. We've been saying subbed the whole time. So, yeah, in the subbed version of Shield Hero, Philo's voice actress is really, really funny because the character itself is a kind of childish character, but there's so many. It's almost like a dude from Zombieland. Like there are so many moments where she will just say something in a super hilarious way that I would not expect her character to talk as. Like when she's transformed into the bird, she'll just say something in such a hilarious way and such a like cool demeanor that I really enjoy it. And because of that, because I really like that character in the show. If there's anything in that show that is redeeming to me, it's her as a character. Even though the English dub is pretty bad. Yeah, I have to give it to her for sure.
Nice, nice.
Was my personal favorite.
That's the problem is since I've been watching the dubbed in the background, I started watching like when that character was introduced. So I don't even know what's going on in the Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same, about the same as Zombieland Saga, where it's like she'll say some things in like English a few times and it sounds really funny and cute, but then like she'll also like have her own dialogue that's like fucking hilarious when she's in her bird form. Yeah. Alright, what you got for voice actor?
Alright. So, my nominees, I have Takahiro Sakurai, voiced Reagan from Mob Psycho. That guy has so many ridiculous moments where he's like naming an attack or just acting ridiculous, and he bounces between being a serious dude to a goofy dude to an emotional dude really, really well. If that voice, the thing is with Reagan, if that voice actor was done poorly, the show would be a completely different show.
Yeah.
Next up, I have Dororo's voice actor, Ryo Suzuki. I guess she is just a young girl that has hardly voice acted anything.
Oh wow!
And man, she crushes it, man. Like there's so many awesome moments, like when she's calling Hyakimaru bro, and just I don't know, man. It's so adorable.
Yeah.
And then when you find out, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, when you find out that Dororo's a girl, and it completely changes the whole perspective, but still done very well. Like, yeah, it was super good. I also have Chika Fujiwara from Love is War, Konomi Kohara, which, this is so crazy, but in my best girl nominees, I have Chika, and I also have, where is it? I also have, I wrote down Hina Tachibana, but I meant to put Miyu, which is the literature teacher in Domestic Girlfriend. They're voiced by the same person.
Damn.
And completely different vibes from both of them. But yeah, Chika, like, oh man, the voice acting, the effort that she put into voicing this character is absolutely god tier. She is the equivalent, like you were saying, like she is the equivalent to me of the dude from Zombieland that does the Steins Gate dude.
Yeah.
Like on voice acting moments alone made some moments super comedic and actually hilarious, like almost dying laughing at some of the things where she would just be like, eh?
Yeah,
stuff
man.
like that. It's just like incredibly goofy. And then last nominee is Haruka Yamazaki, which voiced the cat Haru from Roommate is a Cat. I not much really to say other than like voicing an animal is something I feel has gotta be super difficult to cast. And that's not to say I want to be clear that the cat is not speaking to the human coherently. It's like half the episode will be the main character, and then the other half will be like the cat talking to itself. So yeah, I figure if you think about going into Roommate as a cat, and then you're like, oh, he's talking about the voice actor for the cat, does that mean this dude is like Wilfred type of thing? But no, it's not like that at all. They don't talk to each other. But yeah, I just think that's got to be something super hard. Like where we have an animal that's a big part of the cast, and who the fuck is gonna voice this cat? You know, so that's really impressive. But I mean, Chika Fujiwara is gonna take the award because damn, that really. Honestly, I would put her voice acting above the dude from Zombieland. Wow. I know people say that dude like single-handedly took the show in Zombieland, but in my opinion, she stole the show for Love Is War. Like just every time she spoke, it was amazing.
Damn.
I just think about this volleyball episode that just completely changed things for me. I was like, not changed things because I had the same opinion from like week 1, but I died laughing at that whole scene. Yeah, so that's my best voice actor performance. Are we going to bet or what is it? Best girl?
Yeah, best girl.
Okay, I guess it's probably a bad transition, but Chika. If you follow me on social media, Chika is best girl. Almost number 1 waifu over Ichigo from Darling in the Franxx.
Damn.
Almost. I think if we get another season, it might be possible. But I love that character. The other nominees, though, were really, really good, too. I have Miku from Quintuplets. I was Team Miku from the beginning. I thought the whole thing with her being like really into history was cool. The headphones was dope. She was really unique in that she was like quiet and always liked the main character from the beginning. So yeah, she was like the first person that he won over, and I was like, oh, she's pretty cool. Also, the elf girl I said earlier from Endro, Siren, she was really cool. She kind of had that generic thing going the whole thing where the whole show where she was like, man, everybody's boobs are big and my boobs are really small. And and she was the priest of the party, and she had this whole thing where like she like I don't know, she had a cool personality. Read a lot of books, had a messy room, was kind of just that character that's got a lot of open flaws, but she kind of owns them. And I thought that was cool. And then Miu from Domestic Girlfriend. Man, there was just one scene that really got me in that whole show, and I made her the best character in the whole show, even though she wasn't like a love interest. But she was a literature teacher. She had this moment where they were writing to the main character and her were writing to each other in the library, and there was a lot of smiles, a lot of pink cheek moments, and it was really cute, and I liked the character a lot. She was always just really excited to see other people join in the literature club, and yeah, but Chika, let's be real, Chika is just like best voice acting performance. Come on now. That's a 10 out of 10 woman right.
10 out of 10 woman.
I never fall for the airhead, but Chika made that trope super likable for me just in this show. It was sweet. Definitely takes best girl. I'll stop back to back drooling over Chica and let you have your.
Alright.
I gotta.
You gotta chill on the Chica train.
I gotta chill.
For best girl, my nominees were obviously Philo from Shield Hero. I had Kaguya from Kaguya-sama. Yeah, I really liked Kaguya, and it was like the whole like best girl argument that was happening on Twitter and Reddit between her and Chika. I was like, it was like the 0-2 Ichigo thing again, man. Like,
it was the 0-2 Ichigo of the season, definitely.
Yeah, it was like Chika was cool to me, but I was like, oh, I like Kaguya. I like her design, and I like the underdog. And she was definitely the underdog at that point, my man.
in the waifu argument, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny that this side character won everyone over, and Kaguya kind of didn't really take it back until the end of the season, like the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. I had Runa Yornozuki, who is from Kakaguri XX. She's like the fucking you haven't watched Kakaguri, so you don't even I don't think you know what I'm talking about. But she's like the girl who she's like a loli, but she has like rabbit ear. She has like a rabbit ear hoodie, and like the rabbit ears are like super fucking long. But she's always eating like candy and shit. But she's like one of the student council members and like one of the top people, and she's like mastermind behind a lot of stuff in the show, and she's really cool. If anything, if Kakaguri is gonna do anything for me, it's gonna give me a few characters I like at least. And then last nominee I had was Rui Tachibana, who was the purple-haired girl, the purple-haired sister in Domestic Girlfriend. We talked about this a little bit of work earlier, but even though her personality is kind of like super tsundere, I really like that personality for some reason. And there are some moments where I was just like, come on now, you're being fucking too ridiculous here. But her attitude in a lot of situations where she was like, I don't even fucking care, was pretty cool. And the scene, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, so if you haven't seen Domestic Girlfriend, mute the stream for a minute, or the Spotify cast, or whatever. But the scene where they're talking to the teacher's boyfriend and mistress thing, whatever, and the main character dude is getting super angry, and then the dude says something, and you see him get drenched with a glass of water, and then it pans the camera over, and it isn't even the main character, it's her sister that was pissed off.
Yeah.
That scene to me was crazy. I love that. That scene alone made me like that character a lot from that show. But I haven't said the winner yet. You could have guessed though it's gonna be Philo from Shield Hero, just because.
Oh, we both went best girl is best voice actor performance?
Yes.
Nice.
We did.
Completely different characters too.
Yeah, exactly, man. I told you when I was 5 or 6 episodes into Shield Hero, I said I'm only watching this show for Philo now. I don't give a fuck about anyone else. But yeah, like that is the only character that actually has me interested in the show anymore. So yeah, that's gonna be my nominee for best girl. The winner.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man.
I never would have expected something like that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all either until you just mentioned it, and I was like, wow. It's like it wasn't planned, nothing.
Yeah, that best voice actor still. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll go ahead and move into best boy then.
Yep.
I think I'm next.
Mm-hmm.
My nominees for this were Hyakimura from Dororo. Sick character. We've talked about him a lot already, so you understand why. Tanaka from Ueno-san. It's the guy that's like, fuck you, bitch, every single time she tries to do
It's the
anything.
fuck you, bitch guy.
Yeah. I had Gail Owens from Price of Smiles. He's like the for lack of a better term, they're like the rebellion. And he's like the captain of the people at the rebellion, and he's got like this sick fucking like imagine like Sagat's scar on his chest in Street Fighter, but it's like on his face. And the dude is like, he's just really cool. The whole show, like he's killing people and he's got like this whole war mentality, but then you find out like he owns an orphanage and he's like trying to help like kids who have like lost their parents from war and stuff like that. And yeah, he's such a cool, deep character. And then I had to get fucking Lord Phil up in there from Promised Neverland.
So Phil wins it all. He best anime.
Phil was the best anime. He was the worst anime. He was the best animation.
Best girl.
Best girl. Best boy. He was everything. Anime of all time. Phil. It's gonna have to be Phil.
Phil over Devilman Crybaby.
Phil over Devilman Crybaby. Phil was Akira in Devilman Crybaby. So, but
that's
no,
ridiculous.
my best boy winner had to be Hyakimaru.
Yeah.
Just because you've seen so much development of him actually gaining a personality once he starts getting some organs back. And he's just overall a dope character, and he has that like internal flame of like never giving up and just like wanting his body back, and it's dope. I love it. So that's all I gotta say for best boy.
Alright, so I also had Hyakimaru in the nominees. Other than that, I had Chihiro. I won't really get into more of Hyakimaru. You guys kind of heard it all with character design. But Chihiro from the sumo show I was talking about, I thought he was really cool because he was sort of a luchador dude that lost to the main character in a wrestling match. And so he was like, alright, anime shit, I gotta devote my whole life to sumo now. And I was like, okay, a wrestler joining sumo, that's cool. And he ended up being like a really like solid sumo wrestler. And yeah, I was a big fan of that dude. Then Reagan from Mob Psycho, kind of covered it in voice actor, but Reagan's development in this season is leagues ahead of season 1. Like, it's in the first like handful of episodes, it's kind of just Mob and Reagan hanging out. And then I won't really spoil what goes on, but the moment that they reconnect is like crazy cool. And then Norman from The Promised Neverland, and I gave it to Norman. Norman wins the award. This was probably my hardest award because I loved Hyakimaru, Reagan, and Norman, but the things that Norman, I do this thing when something is a thriller or a horror where I pick a character. Well, with most things, I try to pick a character in the first episode and just follow them blindly and see no matter what they do. I'll let people have like I'll be like, I watch an opening and be like, that dude look really cool, and then I'll see what their personality's like, and if I dig it, then they're the dude I follow. And I did that with Promised Neverland. I was like, Norman looks really cool, and followed that dude. I'm not gonna spoil the series, but he was a strategic mastermind. his connection with Emma was really awesome, and I just really love that character. And yeah, it's kind of hard to really get into why I like Norman without spoiling it, so I'll just leave it at that. If you haven't watched the Promised Neverland, first of all, watch it. What's your problem?
You
why you here?
Dingus.
And second, I don't remember what I was saying, but Norman. There's no second. Watch Promised Neverland and find out that Norman is the best boy.
Man, Norman only won because Phil used 5% of his power to let him win.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, dude, Phil is the new Shaggy meme.
No.
Yeah.
I hate the Shaggy meme. Every rendition of the Shaggy meme to disappear.
Damn.
I'll admit, Phil is a god. Phil could beat Goku.
Phil could beat Shaggy.
Not best boy. I hope so.
Shit.
Alright, moving on to worst anime of the season?
Yeah, coming up on the best anime of the season. Worst anime is my favorite category, though.
Alright, worst anime of the season. I got Magical Girl Special Ops. What the fuck is going on with that show, man? It's like super, super brutal, but they try to own this whole magical girls are common in this world, and then like you'll have mafia dudes that are like, oh shit, it's a magical girl, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And I don't know, there's just something about lines like that that I could not take seriously enough. This was the season for me to get into new genres, and I did, happily. But Magical Girl Special Ops, that was a mesh of stuff going on that I couldn't get behind, man. Yeah, not a fan. Shield Hero, already blew a gasket talking about that shit. Fuck Shield Hero. Marinara Friends, also fuck Marinara Friends, because what's going on in the show? Ever. Why are they making these things big deals? Ever. Do they like each other? I don't know. I dropped it. Virtual San wins. Oh man.
Yes.
This show is so fucking bad. I like watching stuff that is bad. I am a big fan of The Room. I'm a big fan of just watching stuff like Tim and Eric and being like, man, this is awesome garbage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I love analyzing stuff that sucks. Most things suck so bad that they're good, except for Shield Hero. And then Virtual San, wow, man. So, okay, I'm still not exactly sure what you were saying is the deal, but it's actual YouTubers?
Yeah, it's actual YouTubers with virtual personas in anime. It is VR Chat the anime.
Okay, knowing that and then going into it, these girls are like, okay, I don't really know how to explain that. They're going through these little skits like Pop Team Epic, right? But the way that they are literally like they were pulled from YouTube or VR, and they're just like swinging their arms around like helicopters the whole time they're talking to each other. Yes. And they'll do the little like leg flip up in the air, and man, the dialogue sucks. They had this one part where there were a whole bunch of the girls in a spaceship, and it didn't show the connect, but the whole thing was, I forget what the fuck was even going on, but it was like, they were like, if you do this, then you'll grow in size. And I was like, okay, whatever. And they started growing in size, and then all but one girl shrunk all of a sudden. And then the big girl just couldn't control how big she was, even though she was only like 7 feet tall. And so she starts flinging her arms around and starts smacking the dudes out of the spaceship. Like through the spaceship.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whoa,
man.
why'd you knock her into space? And then she's like, whoa! And she starts swinging her arms again and starts knocking the other ones out. And then the next thing I know, they're like, another skit where they're just all in a room together, and they're like, oh my god, Virtual Stan is watching! And then they all just fucking walk into the other room and line up and just do the same shit. Yeah, and I'm like, what? I feel like I'm watching fucking Teletubbies, man! Teletubbies is better!
Oh my god.
Virtual Stan is absolute garbage. I think even if you watch those YouTubers, I don't know anything about these virtual girls on YouTube. I have never really understood that shit or looked into it. So if you're into it, dope. But I think if you like that stuff, you will still hate the show.
Oh yeah.
It's just bad. It's so bad. And it wins worst anime of the season, for sure.
Oh, you think it's worse than My Sister, My Rider?
I didn't watch that, but I have to guess yes. Like, I have to.
Well, I can tell you that's a yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh, man. You really killed it on the worst animes.
Oh, is it yours?
My winner? Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was tough though. Okay, it was real tough between.
Because I knew you watched Dimension High School.
Oh yeah, I ran the gauntlet on worst anime here. There were so many bad anime. You got fucking. I had Virtual Sandwich. You pretty much summed it up there. That's my worst anime of the season. Yeah, Dimension High School, which is dudes fucking Mighty Morphin Power Ranger and into anime characters. That are in horrible CG, mind you. Wait,
hold on. So, is it like Virtual Sand where... Wait, I don't even remember what the settings in Virtual Sand were. It seemed like it was real shit. I can't remember now. But was it dudes in real life, and then the anime characters were like their personas, like the Persona games?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh, or like stands.
Yeah, well... It's like they morphed into them to like it was.
Okay.
It was like a meteor came and hit the Earth, and then some shit happened, and they had to morph into their anime characters to defeat it.
Wow.
Yeah, really bad. And they were in CG too, so there was that. Ueno-san was fucking weird, dude. It was funny, but it was like gross comedy funny. It would be like. The girl would be like, hey, drink my pee, or hey, smell my fucking socks, and the dude's like, why? And the whole time I'm like, yeah, why? I don't get it.
I really feel like they tried to take the like Adult Swim type of humor where it's like, just be gross.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of like, no one asked for this.
Yeah. I completely agree with you there. My last nominee was Angel Flew Down to Me, and this was initially the worst anime of the season for me, because there's nothing I absolutely hate more in anime than when you have a loli character that's sexualized by a female and they disguise it as Yuri and everything is okay.
Oh yeah, that's that show. See, I saw that on your list and I was like, I don't remember what that show's about. And then it hit me.
Oh,
that was the one show that we said we domestic girlfriend, but is actually bad.
Yeah, and
it still like, followed the shit.
It's like the animation is good. Okay, I'll give it that. The animation is good. It's got a pretty good soundtrack, but the message that it's portraying, which is it's okay to like kids as long as you are of the same sex, is beyond me. I fucking hate that in anime, dude. And it wouldn't matter to me if it was a guy and a girl. I would still hate it. I just don't like when I'm the kind of dude that my favorite characters in shows are normally lolis, but when you sexualize them to that point, I'm just like, man, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a whole, like, political thing there where, like, you know, I do think those forms of media are a good outlet for people who do have a mental disorder, like pedophilia, for example, because then they're not actually doing things to people.
Yeah.
But still, I ain't about it, and if you make a show like that, I ain't gonna watch it. Or I'll watch it and give it a fucking 3. Regardless of if it's the greatest animation or composer or writing of all time, it's just I'll say it's a moral thing.
It's like a resonation, like it's just a resonation. I don't know if that it doesn't resonate with you. It's like I can get behind some premises, but if it's something I'm like actively against, then
it's like
I'm not trying to watch something that is attempting to convince me to see the bright side of pedophilia or something like that. Like,
or
I'm
just
good.
have it disguised as a fucking Yuri girl on girl thing, and people be like, "Oh, this is okay because it's girl on girl," and it's fuck that, dude. But yeah, my worst anime this season was Virtual Sand. I think I told you I watched all of that, and I still don't know what I watched. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea how you watched it all. I sat down and I planned to watch it all, and I watched one episode and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how often I was like, I tried to focus like 8 different times in the 20-minute episode, and I just kept trailing off to my phone or something because I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, man.
This show sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I also wanted to like it so that I could turn it on you, but it's not good. I couldn't even pretend.
Damn, man. Oh, that's all I gotta say about worst anime this season. My favorite category, there were some nominees I could have added, but yeah, those 4 just took the cake for being worst. I guess now we're to the big whammy, the big award,
the biggest
award, solid gold plating around this one. Got best anime of the season. I got 5 nominees for this, and I'm sure you're not surprised whatsoever of my nominees because I think you got about the same.
It's Devilman.
It's Devilman. You know, all 5 nominees were Devilman. The winner's gonna be Devilman once again. Greatest anime.
And Phil in there too.
He's there.
The 6th nominee.
Yeah, Phil is the 6th nominee. If he wasn't already every character in Devilman, I would have gave it to him. But you know,
right? Yeah. It's like if you gotta just put them all in one and say Devilman.
Yeah, exactly, man. 5 nominees. Here we go. Number 1, I got Dororo. Obviously, we talked about it a lot. Just an amazing anime. Promised Neverland up there in the top 5, especially with its introduction into the anime world being a contender for like the big 3. I really want to see how that goes in the future, I personally don't think having a 12 episode season every season is going to do it, but it has the potential if they pick it up, in my opinion. Domestic Girlfriend is in my nominees for best anime of the season, which if you would have asked me this during the fucking first impressions, I would have told you to fuck off and you were a liar, because there ain't no way it's gonna be in the nominations. But you know what? It made it up there.
I'm not even upset about that. I think that's a good assumption.
I got Kaguya in there. Really good show. It's probably the best comedy of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I got JoJo Part 5 up there in the nominees. Just cause it's JoJo. You can't go wrong with JoJo, man. They could shit on a plate and call it JoJo Part 6 and I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
They could say baby stand and then feed shit to a baby and I'd be like, this is a good show. Oh wait, that happened.
Yeah, it's like anything you think of that could possibly happen in any other form of media, it's already happened in JoJo. So it's wild, man. Best anime this season. It's tough. A lot of good nominees. I gave it to Dororo though, because my god, is that story good, and are the characters great, and it captures feudal Japan in such a good way. It even has historical accuracies, like when you were saying when we found out Dororo was a girl. Apparently that was like a common practice in feudal times, where parents would like raise their daughter as a male so that they wouldn't get like put into prostitution or like raped or anything like that during like wars.
Mm-hmm.
So like the accuracy on that is insane, and the fact that they can still have it in a fantasy type setting, amazing. 10 out of 10. Dororo gonna win it for the season for me.
All right. I see what you're saying. All right, my nominees.
Oh, Devilman again.
It's Devilman. Just kidding. I'm not getting Promised Neverland in the nominees. Come on, who do you think I am? Some kind of goon? Some kind of fool?
Some kind of fool.
You know this is the Endless Devilman podcast. We give Devilman everything. Okay, I got Promised Neverland as a nominee. All of these pretty much covered already. It's spooky. It good. Check it out. Love is War. I heard so much praise about this show, and I kind of fell behind a lot of weeks. But by the end of this year, in the last episode, I shed some tears, and I thought it was emotionally really powerful. I thought it was super good. And if you get a good finale to an already awesome like comedy, you know, like they knew when to be serious, and it deserves a nomination. And Mob Psycho, animation's great, story's great. Gave it a 9 out of 10. Almost gave it a 10. Won't spoil why it isn't until we give our seasonal impressions. I don't know if we've already kind of given you our seasonal impressions or not. We'll let you know. But it's a 9 out of 10, and it's awesome. If you can get through season 1, please watch season 2. It's changing the entire game of anime, and like that's not even an exaggeration.
Oh yeah.
Mother's Basement said it's his favorite anime of all time. Yeah, I think even Arcada said it's one of his favorites of all time now. Like it's crazy that this season hit us with a season that just changed some of the biggest dudes thought process. You know, like, these dudes, you know, people like Mother's Basement and Arcada, like they watch so much anime, so you know this is special when they give it some props. And then Dororo, for the second award show in a row, we're both given the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Anime of the season is Dororo. I thought that maybe I would save it for next season and see, but like, I really heavily thought about everything I watched this season, and I didn't miss a single Monday that Dororo aired.
Yeah,
because I was so stoked for it. Like every week, I had to see what was going on. Hit me with heartwarming moments, hit me with amazing action, hit me with demon shit, hit me with spooky, awesome monster concepts, a lot of like JoJo's moments where I'm like, okay, how in the fuck are they even gonna deal with this one? And don't really take any cop-outs. Like, Dororo really has it all. And it's in a genre that you and I are already particularly massive fans of, so like it's sort of like if the show does a pretty good job, it's already winning you and I over, because, you know, Devilman, Berserk, like all these, you know, you hear about demons and we're there and we're probably giving it one of the best scores.
Yeah, except not fucking Magical Girl Spec Ops.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, I'm gonna have to finish that one and see, but I doubt it. I doubt it gets better. Yeah, I'm gonna go Dororo, and with confidence. I think Kaguya Love is War, I think I gave that a 8 or a 9. Promise Neverland, I gave an 8 for sure. Mob Psycho Season 2, I gave a 9. Dororo, I'm giving a 10 right now. And yes. I'll rate it at the end of the next core if it keeps it up, which it doesn't feel like it's running out of steam or anything like that. So it's not Shield Heroing out, I should say.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
That's
the show.
That's all I got for 2019 Anime Awards. Everything you see here, everything we talked about, are gonna be in the nominations for the end of the year awards.
Yep, they got the spring slot for nominees
locked in, and we got some good wild cards this season, but we got like 3 more seasons to go, and it's gonna be wild. The next season's coming up. You got so much cool stuff. You got like Dr. Stone. You got Fire Force. Man, it's gonna be tough when it comes to the end of the season.
It really looks like the season where everything that like I've anticipated is coming out, as well as like, you know, so it's like things that I decided to openly get into reading manga wise, things that I watched seasons of, like when I kind of wasn't in anime that got season 2s, and I'm just super, super excited for this year. Not particularly for spring. I think Demon Slayer and Carol and Tuesday are probably like my main ones from next season. I've never really been like a massive One Punch Man fan, and I need to catch up on Bungo Stray Dogs to be stoked for that next season, but yeah. Spring isn't looking super hot. Summer is looking flames. Super ready for that. That's when Fire Force and Dr. Stone come out, 2 that I'm really stoked for.
Picking best anime out of those 2 is going to be tough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be... Oh, man. I think at the least one of them is going to have to be in my wild cards, because like I'm really passionate about both of those series. And then I think then we have My Hero coming back in fall.
Yeah.
And a couple of other cool things that fall. I always forget. I think that No Longer Human movie comes out. There's a lot of movies this year we need to check out too. We will have a best movie category. We're just going to do it at the end of the year because seasonal best movie just kind of feels weird.
Yeah, you get like 2 movies a season, so it's
You're like, I watched this movie and it was good. I watched this movie and it wasn't good, so I'm gonna give the award to the one that was good. So yeah, we'll just do that at the end of the year. I think there's a couple more we're gonna do, but that's pretty much the categories for the most part. I can't remember the other categories we were gonna bring in, but we're sorry we didn't do news this time, but I'm kind of glad we didn't because we're pushing beyond 2 hours, I think.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours, almost 10 minutes.
That was a good strategic decision. Sorry if you were looking forward to it, but this was this was a big one for us.
Yeah, and we heard some big news today at work about Carol and Tuesday, but we'll probably hit you with it next episode.
Yeah, definitely. That was massive news. I'm super ready for that. Also, the Bebop live action cast was announced. Bebop's my favorite creation of all time, so I'll hit you with my thoughts next week if we have time. We kind of have a busy weekend ahead of us, but we might be able to get you an episode of at least news before next Thursday, but we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
And then, once again, what's up?
And then I'm thinking that when we get to our Anime Awards of the Year, it'll probably be a longer stream or a longer podcast than this one.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be pushing 3 or 4 hours easily. With as much as I have to talk about all the great shows we got winning categories this season, and then the next ones is gonna be wild, man.
Well, I think about how our yearly awards went last year, or at the beginning of this year from last year, and we didn't even do this whole like nominee thing we're doing. So I remember that was a pretty crazy podcast. So the year of this one where we're like last year we were into seasonal, but this year we're into seasonal.
Oh yeah, we're a part of it. Cemented in.
So yeah, that's really exciting. I love talking about seasonal stuff. I don't know if it's our listeners' cup of tea, but yeah. Once again, we're still really stoked about being on Spotify. It's really fucking me up still that we actually made it on there. But thanks for that. Thanks for following us on there. Thanks for listening. Hit us with a subscription if you want. Follow me at Scuba Drop on Twitter. Follow him at Snorlaxicus. And we will catch you guys next week, or maybe sooner.
Yeah, if you guys got any suggestions or anything, anything you want to see on the show, just tweet us. Always on Twitter.
Always down to talk.
Heck yeah. All right, that's all I gotta say.
Yep. We will catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.